Hello, hello. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. It's your boy Blue and our homie, the good man, XP.11 here on my right side. Welcome back to the Blu-XPerience. Show them your shirt, bro. Show them your shirt to start off
Oh
with.
yeah,
You got
you
from
got to see
FS
the shirt,
Expo.
right? It says Flight Simmers, and then the rest of it says Flight Simmers working from home before it was cool. Dude, I wore this on the airplane on the way over. Let's just say I got some stares from flight crew, flight attendants, and people alike, man. It
That's
was ridiculous.
hilarious.
They're like, what the
Hilarious.
heck's going on? So
Oh
yeah,
man.
what's going on, man? We haven't even spoke since Flight Sim Expo, brother. We
We
haven't even
really
spoke.
haven't. Like we haven't spoke since we were in that 737 cockpit simulator, I feel like, really, which we'll be talking about for sure a little bit later.
Yeah.
Man, it's how you been since you landed, man, or even before that? Like I don't know, yeah, since you landed, I guess. How's it been being back home?
Bro, I came home and I got ambitious and I jumped on the computer because I think I was streaming the next day. And within an hour, man, I was completely wiped out. I went to bed. The hand of God said she came upstairs, checked on me, and I was out like a light. I slept for a good 12
Like a
hours.
light, hey,
Like
like
a
a
like a
light,
light.
hey. Slept through the flight.
I
767, man. That thing got double bedrooms. Okay.
I know, man.
I'm
So
sorry.
yeah, I slept like a baby, man. Tired. I mean, I didn't feel it. I felt good coming over. I did 4 legs,
hmm
two going and two coming flying. Uh, we did the show the Saturday. Sunday was a whole day. We didn't leave till like 2 a.m. in the morning. We'll talk about that. And then the next day we went onto the parking lot. We did a little stream from up there. Then we went to Coronado Island. Bro, it's a whole deal, man. So I'm recouped, man. Yes, yeah, streamed yesterday. So we're back on it, man. What about you? How's it been for you?
It's been crazy, man. I got back in town the day before you. I came back on Monday night. I got home at like 11 p.m. So got home. Honestly, when I got home, I was tired, but I didn't want to sleep. Like, there's so many things that I needed to do and wanted to do when I got back home. That I was like, I'm home, but I want to stay up and like work on videos from the FS Expo. I want to work on like, if you guys can see in the background, there's like lots of junk back there. I'm actually packing. I move tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Well,
Jeez.
we're already moving
Wow.
basically. We're already moving stuff from here to there. So the next few days we'll be moving. So we've been packing like crazy all this week. So that's the reason I haven't been able to stream. And I really haven't got to do any of those videos that I want to do either. So, it's just been crazy. Plus, I've been having training for Ramp Agent all week long, and that's not like just like a couple hours. It's been like all day kind of things. So, but it's been fun. So it's been crazy. It's been a crazy busy week. Looking forward to kind of getting settled again, and getting back in the rhythm as soon as possible. Because trust me, I am like just I can't wait to get back in the simulator. Like I haven't actually done a flight since I've been back on any sim, and it's just killing
Right.
me on the inside.
After what you've experienced at Flight Sim Expo and not being able to fly, I could
Yeah,
just
man. It
imagine.
was like Saturday night that I was already like, man, I'm ready to get back and do some flight simming. Like it was that early for me that I was ready to. What about you? Like when was the moment at the expo in San Diego that you were like, all right, like this is all cool. I'm excited. I'm motivated. You know what I'm saying? Like when was it that you were like, yeah, I need to get home and back
Bro,
on the sim?
I was busy, but that morning when I flew out like a 6 a.m. flight. And funny story with 6 a.m. flight, we boarded on time, pushed back on time, got to the whole short line at runway 27, and the captain was like, folks, from the flight deck, we are on time, we're good. However, we can't take off for the next 7 minutes because of timing on the airport. They
Yeah.
literally couldn't leave before exact certain time. So we were like burning jet fuel just sitting there being early. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, noise abatement. It's too early for the San Diego folks. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Feel
So,
you.
but that's when once I took off, I was like, yeah, I gotta get back home. There's so much pictures to look at, so much videos to edit, as you said, and get back to the sim. Now I gotta tell you, I've been ruined. So we'll talk about that later. But that was the moment, man.
So,
We're
what
back.
was
We're flying.
your? We're talking all about Flight Sim Expo in specific and the weekend and our experience there. Obviously, guys, if you just joined us, your first time coming through, just meeting us, this is the Blue-XPerience again, and we do a weekly live talk show all about flight simulation every week, talking about what's going on, how we're feeling, what's current, and yeah. So, what do you? I mean, if you could rate, I don't know, if you could like sum up the whole weekend in like 3 words, what would it be? That's a hard question, but what would you?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'll tell you what it is. Spectacular. Is that
Okay.
3 words or is it
I
one
can
word?
I can dig that. Sorry, I want to
No,
also
look,
apologize in the stream. We are seeing a few stutters here from your camera. I'm not sure if it's on my side or if it's on your side. We're having some technical difficulties getting started today because of various reasons, but so
right.
just bear with us today. But so you said spectacular.
There you go. It was. And look, let me start by saying this. Me and Blue went to Flight Sim Expo 2019, and that was hopping and it was packed, but that was pre-COVID.
Hmm.
Now with this one, considering that people can't travel from overseas or it's hard for them to get there, they have to quarantine for like 14 days somewhere else and come into the country. So we didn't have those people locally. Same thing, travel restrictions, shot restrictions, so forth and so on. So I was actually not expecting a lot of people to show up at this expo, but it was enough people at this expo to make the buzz. When you walked in the room, there was a buzz in the air. So people were talking, they were looking, it was hands-on. And the good thing about that is that because there wasn't a lot of people, you get to have hands-on time without waiting 15, 20 minutes four deep to get to a yoke. See what I'm saying? So
Yep.
you could walk right up to an item, touch it, feel it, sit down, and nobody was rushing you to get off. So that was the brilliant part of it. It was the biggest space, number one. So lots of room for people to walk around and breathe and not touch and distance and all that stuff. However, if you wanted to get to an item, want to get to a yoke or a joystick or a seat or whatever, you could get up to it. So right away, that's what I noticed from 2019 to this one, but it didn't make it any less fun for me, man. What about you? It was the
Yeah.
same amount of fun or higher.
Same for me. I wasn't expecting to see a lot of people there, like the 2019 one, but I felt like it was enough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was enough. I feel like it also felt that it was small enough that you were able to spend more time with fewer people. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? Or I should say, more time with more people rather than less time with more people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've made some lifetime friends over the weekend. Kind of like 2019. I mean, me and you met at that expo, and we
Yep.
still talk today, 2 years later. Same with a bunch of other people that we still talk and text all the time. And I feel like I got that same kind of thing. Honestly, that was one of my biggest goals for the expo, was not to just get to touch all the equipment and the hardware, but to kind of duplicate what happened in 2019, where I met you, where I met Geo and HD and Captain Canada for the first time as well in person. So a bunch of people that I got to meet, I wanted to be able to do that again with new people. So like I really wasn't prioritizing like even hanging out with you. Like no offense, XP, but like you probably noticed there was a lot of times you didn't see us together, and that was on purpose because I didn't want to just like gang with you, which was obviously we're gang, but you know what I mean. Like I didn't want to gang with you because I wanted to
Blew me
make
off. You know,
I
straight up,
wanted to
man.
make new
No.
friends, new connections. Now we still went to lunch and dinner and downtown, all that. That was fun. But in that time that I was away, I feel like I made some really nice connections with people like I think it's Sim Aviator. My man
Right.
Midnight Maverick. He's in the chat right now. Shout out to him. And a lot of other people as well. And like you said, because there's fewer people, I had more time to actually spend on the products and being able just to test them and use them. And so speaking of that, though, like starting from, I don't know, whichever one you would like to start off, like what really, like, tell me what you think about all the products you got your hand on.
Oh man. Oh man. All right.
Starting with Turtle Beach.
Let me just say this real quick. I wanted to pick. If we can start with that, but let me pick up here first. Um, it was 50-50, and somebody asked me, "What's Flight Sim Expo all about? What do you guys go do? Just hang out and what?" It was half meeting the folks and half looking at the hardware, evenly between the both. And so let me just shout out all you guys who came up to me or Blue and just said hi. You know what I mean? You walked up, we shook hands, we bumped fists, we said what's up,
Yep.
we took some pictures. That right there is priceless. Just to meet your fellow simmer who have watched you or you have interacted with chat and just saying hi was like, it was so good. You understand? That was just as exciting to me as also meeting and looking at the products that they have announced there. So let me just get that out of the way. It was good, 50-50. But yeah, Turtle Beach, man. Let's talk about some products. So we got a chance to see the Turtle Beach all-in-one yoke and throttle. It's best described as it's a yoke. We know a yoke already. The throttle, what I liked about it is that it had the levers on top, or it below that you have an option to either use the levers on top like you're flying a jet, or It had the throttle and the mixture and the what do you call it? The trim
Yeah.
for if you're flying a Cessna, right? So Turtle Beach approaches like, hey, we're going to give you an all-in-one product that you don't need anything else to fly with. And seeing it for the first time, it's actually a little bit bigger than I thought it would be, which I guess is good. Um, the most I can do is compare it to what we already have. We have the Honeycomb yoke right now. And it is not as stiff as the Honeycomb yoke in the feel of it. Honeycomb is really a stiff yoke, both in the roll axis and in the pitch, so forth. It's
Yeah.
not as stiff as that, but it's there. It's like the old Cytec yokes. I want to make the analogy to. It's like the Cytec yoke. And what was interesting about it, and you saw that, probably you were going to get into that, it was both hooked up to a Xbox and the PC. You know, at first I saw the Xbox, I was like, all right, so it's going to be an Xbox thing, but no, it's both Xbox and PC for the Turtle Beach, and I was like, that's good. So those are my initial impressions with it. I didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time flying with it and so forth and so on, but what did you think about it?
We gonna be honest tonight, or how we? I mean, we always honest.
Okay. Yeah.
How honest am I gonna be?
All right. Are you asking me to
question.
rate it on the scale of 1 to something? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, I'm not
All right, well,
asking anything.
Okay, let me just say this. All right. The Turtle Beach, considering that we're going to talk about Honeycomb and we're going to talk about Thrustmaster. Turtle Beach is now going to be the new entry level. Put it that way. It's going to be the entry level yoke and throttle that if you have an Xbox, you're going to want to get that because it's the only option right now, as far as I know. And they're catering to that. If you're a PC person and I'm not sure what the price is going to be, but if you're a PC person, you know, and hey, John Boy Strong, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Nice seeing you, brother. Absolutely, man. Definitely. It's reading out here. But yeah, the Turtle Beach is going to be the entry level product. Let's just put it that way. You can take the mic. Go ahead, man.
Oh, the Turtle Beach flight Velocity 1 flight control, and I might get in trouble for this one if they watching, but it's okay. I got to be honest with the community. This is how it is. But as soon as I touched it, I'm just gonna break it down for you. As soon as I walked up to the booth, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, I finally get to see it in person. There's honestly a few things that I wasn't expecting from it, like surprise wise. You said you thought it was a bit bigger, smaller than you expected, right? I actually thought it was bigger. Yeah, I actually thought it was a little bit bigger than I expected.
Right.
But when you first touch, like he says, the honeycomb yoke is a bit stiffer. This one is definitely not. It's not loose, but it's definitely not as tight as that. I also feel like it's kind of it reminds me of the Thrustmaster T16000 throttle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the touch, the feel of it, it feels very cheap, for lack of better words. And it feels plastic. Like you can kind of feel the value in your hand when you touch it. And the value is, I don't feel like it's value very high. Like you said, it's definitely an intro level control system. My only issue with it, I think it's a great product. My issue is the price right now. The prices they're asking for it, which I believe is what. Go ahead.
Did they release a price for it already? Because I didn't hear that part.
Yes, there is a price for it already, and I believe it is $379.95.
$379 what?
$379 US.
All right, so we're looking at $380. How much is the honeycomb yoke again? Was it $280?
Like $299 or something like that.
$299, $280, I think is what I paid for it back then. So basically, almost $400.
Yeah, that's almost the price of an Xbox. Yeah, right now the Alpha Honeycomb yoke is going for $279.99, so that's $100 cheaper. But with the Turtle Beach one, you're getting a yoke, a throttle. You're getting a few more, like, you're getting a lot of buttons. There's actually a lot of freaking buttons on that thing. I was surprised by how many buttons there are on it. And it's Xbox, not exclusive, but it does work on the Xbox out of the box.
Right.
But still, even with all the extra stuff that it has in it, I don't think that $379 is.
Yeah. Generic Gamer is saying that the Thrustmaster is also compatible with the Xbox.
It is. Oh, the new ones. The what's it called? V2 or something like that.
I got
Whatever they announced this weekend is a completely new version of the Honeycomb yoke. It's the exact same yoke that we all know. except now it's Xbox compatible. That's the only difference. You can't make the current, like if you already have a Honeycomb yoke before this weekend, you're
Right.
not gonna have an Xbox compatible Honeycomb yoke. It's not possible because of some technology stuff.
Wow.
But if you get the new one that has a little Xbox button on it, it's really all they added to it was a little Xbox button on it and some kind of chip on the inside that makes it compatible with the Xbox. But yeah, I'm looking at the Velocity One website right now, and it is $379.95. It is still yet to be available for pre-order, but you can sign up for the mailing list thing. But yeah, $379.95.
Wow.
I don't know. When I heard the price, I was like, ooh, it's a little steep for what it is. It does some great stuff. But I don't know. I think for the market that they're trying to hit with that specific product, especially after me and you got the chance to touch it and feel it, it doesn't feel like a $400 product.
True. You're absolutely right. It does not. I mean, they're shooting for the stars here, and it's got a screen on the yoke. It's got as you said, a bunch of buttons on it. It's got a trim wheel that you can use like a Cessna trim wheel.
Yeah.
I think my biggest problem is not what it looks like, is the touch, the feel of it. Because Honeycomb and Thrustmaster is stepping up the game when it comes to feel. And feel is important. You understand? When you're just starting out, you just want to get your hands on whatever. But once you experience a certain thing, you're not going to go backwards in feel. You're going to go forwards on that.
And here's
I
the
think
thing:
yeah.
when you're just getting started and you want to just get in, you're not looking at $400 for a flight control system.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You're looking at like maybe $150 max because you don't even have hardware yet. You don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to convince somebody on console on an Xbox who just paid all this money for an Xbox. They just paid all this money for Microsoft Flight Simulator Deluxe Edition, and then they got to buy a freaking PMDG product and pay another $100 for that. And then you're asking them to get a flight control system for the console for $400. I don't know. Now if you're going for people like us, seasoned people who have been doing flight sim for a long time, you want more high quality, more higher fidelity products. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of person who would pay $400 for a yoke system that's good quality. Now again, even if they were going for that market, I don't think that this, just based on how I touched it, how I felt it, as soon as I touched that thing, I was like no, like this isn't it. This is not the wave, my friend. This is not the wave. I'll be honest, the throttle part, like it has a lot of really cool freaking features to it. Like they were really smart the way they put it together. It's just like the throttle, it really doesn't have any resistance to it, but it works. You know what I mean? You know, I don't get too picky on that. The trim wheel is pretty cool. It's kind of like incognito the way it sits right there between the yoke and the throttle, so you kind of forget that it's there. It actually has these the panels. I'm not sure if you ever saw this, but the guy like kind of broke it down for me. You can actually take off the panels in the middle and replace them with different panels, or even change them and customize them and put little like stickers come in the pack where you can like say, hey, this is gonna be the engine, this is gonna be this is gonna be that. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do with it, a lot of customization, but I just don't feel like they're hitting the right price point there. And like I said, when I touched that yoke for the first time, which then honestly everything else is cool, the yoke was the most important part. Trying to fly it in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is already super pitchy. Pitchy.
That's the thing.
Go ahead.
Gonna have that fine tuning of your flying, because I was gonna say if anything it would just be a GA product only, but Microsoft Flight Sim as it is right now with some of the planes on there, it's very pitchy. So added to this, I wonder what your experience is gonna be. But $400 US dollars, was it 380 euros? Yeah, that is steep, man. I didn't even realize that they dropped the price on it.
It can maybe what we saw, what I got to feel was a pre-production version. Maybe it's not completely done, so I'll put that disclaimer out there. But I don't know. I would still love to get my hands on it and give it a final test to see how it really feels on my PC, on my system, and really get more time. Because honestly, like when you're at the expo, you get like very little time to fly. I think I did like one pattern out there on the Xbox out there in the system. But getting a chance to kind of get your hands on it and spend a little bit more time on it will be better. I was actually walking up on a pilot who was out there at Flight Sim Expo. He had never really played any flight sims before. He's just a pilot. He's out there. He's at the Turtle Beach booth trying to figure it out. So it's kind of interesting, entertaining seeing a pilot who doesn't flight sim hop on and try out some of our stuff.
Wow. All right. Well, that's it. That's our opinion on the Velocity One. We're not even going to go anymore. You guys are feeling us exactly.
They said in the chat.
I was trying to skirt around a little bit.
I know you were trying. I can't.
Get to the point, bro.
I can't.
So,
I got to be honest with you guys. I can't lie to you guys. You guys deserve the truth.
All right, good deal. All
Turtle
right.
Beach, hit us up. Change our mind.
I know. Please, please,
Or
please,
my
please.
mind. XP
I
hasn't
know,
said
right?
nothing. He's on the fence.
Exactly. All right. Hey, you never know, man. You never know. I might want to sit upstairs with the big screen TV, plug in an Xbox, and just fly around and tootle around.
All right,
Use it for that.
so who next? Honeycomb or Thrustmaster?
Let's go with Honeycomb, man.
All
Let's
right,
go with
all right.
Honeycomb next. I mean, Honeycomb, Smitty in chat says, didn't Honeycomb have an all-in-one PC, Xbox stick and throttle under the glass case in front of the booth? So yeah, when you walk into Flight Sim Expo, one of the first booths you see is Honeycomb. It's a little bit off to the left side there,
I
and they
think
had
Honeycomb
this.
had the biggest booth at the show.
Yeah, they had a huge booth, man. They had this nice glass case. Actually, Thrustmaster had a big booth too. It's like a double booth. But Honeycomb has a nice glass case with a whole bunch of stuff underneath it, and I have a video up that I put on either Twitter or Instagram. But underneath that, they had some new stuff. You know, you were talking earlier about the version 2. Let's talk about the version 2 real quick. Then we'll talk about what's under the glass case.
Yeah.
You were talking about the version 2. So basically, you're saying I didn't hear this. Any the Bravo, not the Bravo throttle, but the Alpha flight yoke. Anything that sells now, it's going to be Microsoft Flight Sim compatible. Sorry, Xbox compatible.
I don't know if it's like, hey, now anything that ships is gonna be Xbox compatible. I don't know if that's the truth.
Right.
But I do know that on Friday at the Captain's Corner, that's when they announced that they have Xbox products, like the V2 version. I just don't know when exactly that's gonna go into effect. So don't
Right.
go out there and buy one today thinking, hey, I'm getting the Xbox version. So because you might not. I don't know. I don't even see it on their website. Right? I don't see anything on the website showing it right now. But they did
Yeah, it's not.
announce that they were going to do that. So
Yeah, I mean everybody's going after the Xbox market. It's going to be a huge market for them. You
oh
understand?
yeah, oh yeah.
The Xbox market you can't ignore. So making Xbox specific things, hey, or just make it compatible with everything and
I
call it
think
a
it
day.
is smart. They
About
made
that.
it. They came back, redesigned their own product, but didn't change anything, right?
Right.
Honeycomb yoke is not broken, so why change it? Why fix it? So they just went
Right.
back and was like, hey, well, we have an issue. We want our yoke, our current one, to work on Xbox. The problem is Xbox has some kind of I think they explained it's some kind of security thing or something like that. When you
Yeah.
plug it in, Xbox basically rejects it because it doesn't have the Xbox chip inside, and so they have to make a new one, put an Xbox chip in it, and now it has an Xbox
Ah,
button on it.
so this is like a hardware chip for authentication in there.
Yes, that's what it's called,
Which
authentication.
works.
Exactly. So
Authentication.
they had to
Yeah.
go back and redo that. But I think it's smart to make it so that it still works on PC. It's not Xbox specific. Again, same thing that Turtle Beach did. If they made it Xbox specific, that's fine. But then they're blocking out the rest of the community. The majority of people who have been here already, the
Right.
PC people. Obviously, there's a lot more on
Yep.
the console side coming in, but still, yeah, I think it's smart to do both. I think it's smart what Honeycomb did. I was curious to see how they were going to respond to that.
Good. I mean, look, the Honeycomb hardware itself, as you said, hasn't changed, and it still holds up. I have it. I flew with it yesterday, and the thing just still feels good, man. I know you've had a little bit issue with yours. They're going to replace it, but mine, I've been running for what, a year, 2 years now,
Yeah.
and the thing is brilliant. The thing works. I mean, it's nice. It feels good in the hand. The rubberized texture on it, the trim wheel. I've had zero issues with my Honeycomb yoke. Zero. I
Here's
don't have the throttle quadrant, but go ahead.
here's a perfect example of that first touch, right? When I first touched the Turtle Beach yoke, I was like, yeah, this is not the wave, right? When I first ever touched my Honeycomb yoke, I was like,
Yep.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anybody in chat
Yep.
who's got a Honeycomb yoke, when you first touch
Yeah.
that, when you first grab the thing out of the box, before you even plug it into your sim, like you just touch the materials that it's made out of. It's also made out of plastic, I believe, right?
Yep.
But it has that
Yeah.
feel, that soft feel to it. It's comfortable. It makes you feel like I don't know how to explain it, but
You know what it is? That feel is a BMW feel, man. BMW does a lot of plastics covered with this rubberized texture. That fades after like 5 years, but anyway. But that's what it is.
but it
And no,
sells you when you first touch
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's important. If you're gonna spend over $200-300 on a product, you want that thing to feel good in your hand. You don't
You
want
want it to
it
feel
to
like
feel cheap.
$300.
Exactly.
I
Every time
remember
you
when I
touch it.
opened up my
And
Honeycomb
yeah,
yoke. I didn't make a video. I should have, but I think I
right.
will. I'm gonna get a new one. I'm gonna make a video then. When I first opened it up and touched it, I was like, this literally feels like money. Literally, like
And
that's the
that's what you
best way I
want to
can
feel.
explain it. It feels like money. It's just all over top of the yoke.
Nice,
Oh man,
nice. Nice. Yeah, it did. You know, and so Honeycomb is still keeping the game going, man. I mean, you can't go wrong if you have a Honeycomb, or if you want to pick one up. You can't go wrong with it. But let's talk about the future of Honeycomb, what they were showing under the hood here. I wish I could show you guys some pictures, but they had the plastic covering, or the glass covering, the glass case covering some very unique things that they're coming out with. And I've noticed a thing or two about it. Basically, they're making a joystick and a throttle quadrant.
Yep.
Now, I heard the gentleman from Honeycomb, somebody was asking him, hey, why doesn't it look exactly or specifically like an Airbus, since you already have like a Boeing looking thing? And he goes, no, Honeycomb is positioning themselves to be a, how should I say it, fit anything kind of yoke, and it's going to be the same joystick, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look exactly like an Airbus joystick. The throttle quadrant doesn't look exactly like an Airbus throttle quadrant, but it has the feel of it in terms of where the button placement and so forth is. And what's more unique about what they did was a lot of the switches and buttons you can literally remove and replace them and switch them around. So it's almost like imagining a box with switches and buttons on it, but you can literally pick up and take out the switches and buttons and move them around the way you want. You can reorganize them.
Yep.
And I think that was like, whoa, they're thinking. They're actually thinking about people, because I like to customize my things. Anything that I have, I love customizing it. You know, that's just me. I can't get out of customizing. You know, it's fine to wait out of the box, but next thing you know, I'm trying to like change it to fit my needs and the way I fly. And I noticed that. I'm not sure if you noticed it, but that's one of the things. They had the little switches sitting to the side. It actually showed you the slot where you can put the switches. All the slots are universal, but the switches are different, basically, is what I want to say.
Yeah, I was
So,
very,
yeah.
because before they actually renamed that. Did you realize they renamed it?
Did they? What did they
I
name it?
believe it used to be called the Tango or something. I can't remember what they named it before, but anyway, I think
Okay.
they redesigned that because they showed like, some teasers a while back of Honeycomb coming out with the joystick and throttle or HOTAS, and they named it something different. But at this expo, they renamed it probably because it's now Xbox compatible, most likely. But I agree with you. I think it's a smart move. I think the way I think about it is it's going to be a huge upgrade to Thrustmaster T16000 because the T16000 was not developed or made to look like any specific type of aircraft, jet, or anything. And I think it's the same thing with the Honeycomb. What they're doing here, I think it's a smart move not to try to create an Airbus joystick, right,
Hmm.
where you limit yourself to only people who fly airliners. Now, obviously, you could use it for anything, but when you're marketing and you say, "Hey, we got this new Airbus joystick," people are gonna, uniquely and originally come over there and be like, "Yeah, I'm getting a joystick for flying airliners." But they want this to
Yep.
be used for DCS World, space sims, like anything that uses a joystick. They want you to use this for, right? And it's Xbox compatible, so any other flying type game on Xbox, period, should work, right? Which opens the realm so much bigger. Because if you're thinking way outside of flight sim, you think about like what's that Star Wars game that was out, right? And that
Yep.
has a massive community as well. So I think it's super smart. I agree. I love all that. I'm actually looking at my videos of it to remind me, but I loved all the panels being able to be removed and moved. They have the flap lever with all the detents, and you can actually put in. Remember that you can actually put in a little customizable slot that changes the detents or like gives you, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was really unique and cool. I think somebody mentioned
Yeah.
also there is actually a left and a right-handed version. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good product. It's not like super massive. It's not huge like everything else, but you could tell it does have that. Still has that BMW honeycomb feel to it.
And in the background here, I'm rolling a video on it, man. And honestly, I'm just looking at it going, you know what? I'm not sleeping on this thing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this actually, just the customization alone and the look of it, just you could look at it. It looks like $1,000,000, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, sleek looking, still got that rubberized texture feel on the outside, and just the capabilities that you can have in here. I mean, it's got the look. The throttle section does have the detents for, as you said, the Airbus flaps, but you can switch that out for something else.
Yep.
It's got the speed brake slat right there. It's got the parking brake slat. like an Airbus, right?
Yep.
And it's got two beefy throttles with the auto throttle disconnect on it and
I
so
would
forth.
love
You
to
know,
know what, because we didn't, because they had it in this big glass pristine box, so you couldn't really get in there and touch it. You could
right,
just see it up close. So I'm really curious to know what that throttle feels like, or at least what they intended. Because again, this was a really early version. I'm not expecting to see this till like maybe, again, no date has been released on this. I'm just
right.
guessing and speculating. I'm thinking, expecting to see this like summer next year. Like that's how far out I'm expecting it. If we get it anytime sooner, I'll be surprised. Because it looks
Yeah.
like they're still in the planning phases. They're not even ready. Like this was like probably developed just for the expo, most likely. But I'm curious to know what that throttle feels like, right? Like when you go forward and back, like because
Slide it.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm wondering what that tension feels like. But this is again, I don't think anybody should sleep on this product. I think this is gonna really be the go-to joystick throttle setup, honestly, in the future.
Yeah, it's
Prob
it's it's surely nice, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's surely nice. I mean, what I like about it, looking at the joystick, the base of the joystick is so massive. It kind of gives you a feel that it's gonna be stable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and probably
It's gonna
like
be
has a little
stable.
bit of weight to it, so that you
A
can
little bit of
actually,
weight to it.
you know,
Exactly.
and I feel it again. We haven't had a joystick from Honeycomb,
No,
so we don't know
this
what
is the
kind of
first one.
technology they're gonna be running underneath that joystick. How is it gonna feel? But I don't know. Just knowing Honeycomb and their reputation and the way they've done things, I don't expect it to. I think it's gonna be like a beautiful dead zone. I think it's gonna be just smooth. As I don't know. I can't wait. I think it's gonna be great.
Right. Somebody said, "Is it a T16000M replacer?" Yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna have.
It might
Yeah,
not be priced
yeah.
though. I'm gonna be honest. It
Right.
might not be
That's the
T
thing.
16,000 price. It's probably gonna be more like above the TCA but below the
Hmm.
Warthog
Yeah, that's
price.
where it's
That's what I'm
gonna fall.
expecting. So probably right
Um,
around. It seems like on their website they're trying to price
mhm.
everything just under $300. So I'm thinking this is
Yeah,
gonna be right around the same.
yeah. I'd love to get my hands on it, to be honest. Just to feel how smooth it might feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, they have the buttons in the right place. They have the autopilot disconnect is there. They put a trim thing on the joystick. I'm
Is
not
there a
mad at that.
trim
It's
on
all
there? Oh,
good.
on the joystick.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean it makes
the
sense. It's
joystick.
just
A
you gotta
high.
think.
Yeah. There's a POV switch on there also, and there's a trigger itself. And there's another one too. They have like almost like they have two different ones. I'm looking at it trying to see if they went a different direction because the joystick, there's two different setup for the joystick. Maybe it's just different configurations that they have. So let's say it's highly configurable. Is that the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for?
yeah. Let's go with
Highly
that.
configurable. So you know what I mean? It even has three looks like red lights for like engine fire or fire test
Yeah.
on it too, which is crazy. Like that's on the throttle quadrant itself. So
I personally thought that was useless. I saw that like, guys, that's a freaking waste of
blue,
space. Put something else there. That
you
was my
know,
honest opinion when I saw this. I think
right.
it's on the throttle quadrant part. It's these big. It's like an APU fire, I think. And it's like two engine fire, like
Yep,
hidden, not hidden, but covered switches. I'm like, you could have put something else
yep.
there because anybody gonna use that.
True, true, true. But yeah, that was my thought on Honeycomb. I mean, they're in the game. They're staying in the game. They're not going anywhere.
But wait,
And
there's
I love
more.
that. Yeah.
There's
Go
more.
ahead, man. Go
There's
ahead.
the rudder pedals. Did you get a chance to get your feet on those rudder pedals?
Yes, that was that spaceship looking rudder pedals. That's the best I could describe it. Have you guys seen this thing? This thing looks like a spaceship, man. The rudder pedals that they're coming out with, it sits flat on the ground, and it's a complete opposite of what Thrustmaster is doing.
Complete opposite.
Thrustmaster one is high up. Theirs is completely elongated and flat on the ground, and then literally you're pushing the rudder pedals along back and forth. Now, I didn't not get a chance to feel it. I did not get a chance to feel how it feel. How did it feel to you?
Well, first of all, anybody in chat know the nickname for Thrustmaster's TFRP rudder pedals? Go ahead and spam that in the chat for us while we're talking about this. I thought it was
Is
funny.
oh my god.
How did it feel?
Hmm.
It felt heavy.
Hmm.
It felt heavy. Like the actual pedals themselves, they felt like heavy to move. From what I remember, they were smooth though. They were very smooth, but it's kind of a bit heavier than I'm used to because I'm used to using the Thrustmaster TFRP rudder pedals.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think my biggest thing and the thing I've heard, I guess around the expo, was that it was bigger than people were expecting. Like it's massive. Like it's
Longer. Yeah.
probably bigger than most people's desk. And that was kind of an issue for a lot of people. They didn't like the size. They want it to be bigger, for people who are a bit bigger, so they can have more space in between the rudder pedals, which is perfectly fine. But the
Right.
issue was that it was so much longer and it stuck out. It was just so big that most people's setups probably won't be big enough to hold it.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? But it's probably going to be one of those specialty things, if you're going to build your little sim pit at home, then you're going to want to make space for it, or you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
was the feel of it to you? I mean, compared to real world? I mean, I know you haven't flown real world, maybe, Cessna or so, but heavy is better in my opinion.
I'm not against
Heavy
heavy.
is not,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
heavy
like
is
the
not a bad thing.
resistance that it gives you, right? Because
Right.
I feel like in real life you're gonna get some resistance. If you
Yep.
just barely, like right now I have my rudder pedals on my feet and I can just barely bump into them, and it's moving. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that having that tension back, I think, is good. So I don't think that the pedals, as far as the aesthetics of it, or not the aesthetics, but like the physical, like how you move them, that felt great to me. It's just they were just massive.
Let me just say that whoever is designing honeycomb stuff, these things are beautiful looking, man. Seriously, I'm not lying. These things look good. You know what I mean? Just the way they've
Smitty said the
executed.
nut rubbers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nutcracker. I know, man. But they're beautiful, man. The way. So look, they came to Flight Sim Expo and they did their job,
It
in my
is.
estimation.
I
They
agree.
they represented themselves. Did Honeycomb did their job at Flight Sim Expo. And I really have a funny picture of the CEO of Honeycomb checking out the next person we're going to be talking about, which is Thrustmaster. That was funny.
Yes, I saw you
I
kept
that.
that picture. I did want to go
I
before
know.
we move on though. There was even more at
Yeah.
the booth. I spent a little time over there at Honeycomb's booth, and they got a
Didn't you?
new gaming chair coming. Did you
You
see
know,
that?
honestly, yes, and I walked past it.
You walk.
I did.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
I
Why?
glimpsed that gaming chair, and in my estimation, hmm, if I look to my left and I look at the hand of God's office chair, and I go, babe, can I take your chair in the garage for a second? I want need to screw these two blocks on the handles and give it back to you in 5 minutes. That's what it looked like. So I was just complimenting Honeycomb on the beautiful designs, but that chair, nah, bro, nah. I'm sorry.
But did you
I
sit
can
in it?
literally didn't sit in it, but the look of it is basically an office chair with two things screwed onto the arms. That's it. Tell me what you thought when you sat in it.
So I sat in it. I
Mm-hmm.
sat in the Honeycomb. I don't know what they're naming it, but the chair, the office chair, and it is exactly that. It's an office chair with Honeycomb branding on it. That's literally all it is. It is. I will say this though. I'll be honest. It is really comfortable, but that's not
Is
surprising.
it
It's basically
right?
a high tier, I guess, chair, office chair. The material, just like all the yokes, have that soft, just kind of like buttery feel. So again, it's a very comfortable chair. But the idea of just plotting down, platforms on the what do you call these things? Armrest,
Right.
and then having a joystick and a throttle. I assume that that's kind of what they were advertising it. I don't know, man, because me and you talked at the expo about like what if like you're trying to land and like your chair spins because there are locks on the wheels, right? Every office chair has locks on the wheels.
And this exactly, and this is a reason why I haven't got rid of my next level racing chair. I'm not just talking because it doesn't move. It's sturdy. It's set. So when I'm landing in Burbank and my airplane is skating off to the right, trying to go in a hangar, and I'm jamming on the rudder pedals, my chair is not moving.
Yeah.
It's just that the airplane keeps sliding off the runway. You know what I'm saying?
That's mainly
It is
when it happens too. Is when you're putting a lot of pressure on the back of the chair. You're like freaking.
exactly.
Your palms are sweating because you're gripping the yoke so hard, and you're pushing that
Yep.
right rudder, left rudder, whatever. It's happening right now. Actually, I'm rolling
Exactly.
backwards on the carpet. But it's one
Exactly.
thing I actually I gave feedback to one of the guys I was at the Honeycomb booth. Like, hey, so I get what you're trying to do. This is kind of a cool idea. It could work. Some people may want it. But you need to make a way so that you can also not only lock the wheels, but lock the ability to turn left and right.
And exactly. Exactly. You're gonna spin yourself around trying to maneuver the rudder pedals abruptly. And I
Because
mean,
what happens is you lock the wheels and then you push the chair and the wheels are locked, but they still slide on the surface and they end up turning underneath you and then you end up facing a different direction. Especially, this is something you'll know if you're in VR, is you don't know your situational awareness going on in your real life,
yeah,
and next thing you know, your chair's over here. You know what I mean? Especially if you're using a yoke, you kind of have a point of reference of where the front is.
Yep,
But if you're using
exactly.
like stuff right here and you're just going like you're all out, you're playing DCS world, just trying to like fly. Next thing you know, you're looking the other direction. So it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, man.
But I think it
Yeah,
needs some more design. They need to work on the
absolutely.
design.
And here's a perfect transition for you. Gio said that the Next Level Racing had a nice chair at the Thrustmaster booth.
Yes, they
Did you
did.
see that?
I
Bro,
did.
I went on the website, I looked for it, it doesn't exist on the website yet.
Yeah, I saw. I was like, and Thrustmaster was kind of hush hush about it. They were using
Hmm.
some chair that nobody had. And I was like,
Hmm.
XP, you got that chair? I was
No.
like, what chair? So I'm thinking that there's a new next level chair coming out at some point because
And
next level wasn't
that
actually there
is
themselves.
that is the only chair I would consider replacing the one I have with,
Hmm.
because I sat in that chair. Not only does it have the adjustability where you can slide forward and backwards, you can also adjust the angle on the back of the chair incrementally.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? So you completely customizable. You understand? And the ergonomics of the chair when I sat in it fit me perfectly immediately right away.
Did you
That's
actually
the
sit
chair
in
that I
that chair?
want. Yes, I did.
Okay, I
I
didn't get a
had to.
chance to sit in that chair.
It caught my eyes, and I was like, I have to see, because I have two next level racing chairs so far.
Hmm.
You have one of them,
Yep.
okay? And I have this one, which I've stuck with. When I saw that one, I was like, wait a minute, I don't recognize this product. I sat in that chair, and immediately, without any adjustments, the thing felt good
Hmm.
right off the bat. As a matter of fact, guys, here's the deal, right? Here's what I'm thinking. I'll share my little secret. There are gaming chairs, hundreds of them out there for different purposes, different design, different colors. But for us flight simmers, we need a specific flight simming chair.
Yep.
And I think that's the one that Next Level Racing showed. That's the best I've seen so far, specifically for flight simming. Not for racing, not for iRacing, not for anything else. We need a simming chair because it has different criteria. Somebody said they took the wheel. JDFX said he took the wheels off of his chair so it doesn't move. Yeah, we need a chair that doesn't move, but gives you the ability to slide the chair backwards and forward like you do in a real cockpit. You understand?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you need. And but I like that chair, man. That Thrustmaster had.
So
So
I like to
yeah.
make predictions on this show, and I
Hmm.
think I'm doing pretty good, especially after last week. Um, next
Nice.
level,
Yep.
next level. So we see this chair at the expo that's like an unknown, and nobody knows what it is. They're not even promoting it. It's just there, right?
Right.
So next level actually just recently released what they call the GT Racing Simulator Chair Pro. That's probably the complete wrong name. Basically, it's a pro version of a recently light version. The light version is the equivalent to the Flight Simulator light chair, which we can get right now. It's like, people
Right.
call it the glorified lawn chair, is what they call it.
Right.
But so that I was kind of like, well, if we have a light version and they've already given the racers a pro version, and that means that they're designing a pro version for us. And I'm assuming that what we saw at Expo may be the pro version. Now I don't know how much it's going to cost. Probably double what the light was. And the
Right.
light was, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't super expensive either. So I think that maybe they can learn from the design mistakes they made on the light chair,
Right.
build on it and make it like the perfect. Because again, we don't have that I know of like the perfect like the flight simulator chair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Spag said it needs to be something like the seats in your car.
yeah.
You know, we sat in two real 737
Oh boy,
cockpit seats, and we haven't even gotten there yet.
no,
And you see the ergonomics of that is completely different.
completely different.
You understand? So that's what we need for flight simming, the
Yeah,
period off the bat. And that's what we saw at the Thrustmaster booth. So we might as well get to Thrustmaster,
yeah.
man, because
Speaking of predictions, was I right or was I right last week?
you were right. You were right. We can rewind the tapes and we can watch.
I was
Oh
wrong about
my
the force
word,
feedback part. People were at this expo were talking about force
bro,
feedback. I was like, guys, I told you it wasn't gonna happen. But
bro.
Thrustmaster did drop on us a yoke. And last week we talked about this and we are like, hey, what is Thrustmaster gonna do? We were like, I think a yoke would make sense. And it happened. They announced a Thrustmaster Boeing yoke. Not even that. A Thrustmaster Boeing
Bro,
license 787 yoke
bro.
and throttle, which, yeah. What do you think about the announcement, and then what do you think when you actually got to touch it?
Thrustmaster, you have forever changed the game when it comes to yoke. Period. Honeycomb changed the game when it comes to a quality yoke that works and feels good. Thrustmaster went, watch this, hold my beer. And you're like, yo, we're going to come right. And they did. They hit it out the park 1,000%. I went first time, got my initial impression, walked around the hall, came back again, spent some more quality time with it. And my initial impressions were like, all right, okay, this is legit. This is awesome. This is good. Maybe a little bit light in the pitch. I came back and sat with it and I said, no, this is actually perfect. They have dialed in and tuned this thing properly. So here's what they did, guys. I'm sure you guys have seen the pictures already. The new part that they've brought to us is the pivoting port.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sitting in a cockpit of a Boeing 737, 787, 767, 757, 747. Any Boeing, right? And it doesn't come out of the bulkhead towards you. The yoke is attached to the floor and it pivots towards you, right? That's what it does. It pivots towards you back and forth. Somehow they managed to miniaturize that and make it work. Because when I sat in the chair in front of it and started using it and pulling it towards me, and it just slightly pivot towards me, oh man, the smile on my face was like, yo, this is legit the way to go. As far as the roll, it snaps back to center, but it snaps back with a vengeance. You understand?
Does it?
Yes, it does. So you make sure you guys go work out, okay? Because you're gonna need some muscle strength to fly this with one hand on takeoff and landing and use the throttle at the same time. It is absolutely fantastic. And the reason is there's a picture you could see. Inside is made of metal. It's not all plastic. That's the difference.
Yeah, they
it's
called it a pendular effect instead of
there
the
you
usual, like how we have all the other yokes we've seen in the community.
There you go, Specs. The pendulum effect. Exactly. That's what it's called. So the quality, even down to the way it's mounted to the desk, is very unique because you literally get to slide it. There's a top piece and a bottom piece, and the desk is sandwiched in between, and you tighten up the little nut on the bottom. So that way, it's going to be stable on the desk. It's not going to move around. It's not going to rock around. And the movement on it is good. I mean, it's got the typical autopilot disconnect switches, trim switches, hi-hat switch, for POV stuff. But I don't even care about the buttons, man. I just want the feel. Let's talk about the feel. We were going on and on and on and on about a Honeycomb, but the feel of it in the hand, the fact that it didn't even register to me, that means it was great. It was memorable in terms of I got past the feel immediately because I wasn't even worried about it. It felt like Blue said earlier, it felt like whatever they're gonna charge for it, it feels that good.
I'll say, like, compared to like Honeycomb and Turtle Beach, the other two yokes that were at the show, the Turtle Beach one, like I said, just felt like plastic. It felt like empty plastic. The Honeycomb one, it feels like the BMW of the flight sim world, right? When you touch it, you just like, no, this is gonna take you on an adventure. The Thrustmaster one, when you touch that one, it's not like as high class and soft as you feel the Honeycomb yoke. But it really kind of, it doesn't, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it doesn't bother me, the feel. Some people I think it's gonna bother them because they want that heavy duty thing, right? And if you're gonna get that heavy duty hardware, you're gonna pay a lot of money for it. But what I see there is that they actually kept it they used the material in a way that you could actually afford this. But where where it really comes is the way it moves, right? Like you said, like it's not just a pole that's sticking in and out and kind of trying to predict that.
Let's get back to the finish on it. The finish on it is exactly what it is in a Boeing cockpit. It's no frills. Like, it means business. You get in front of this, you go fly, you mean business. You understand? Yeah. That's what it is. You understand? The Honeycomb is more like a GA luxury. I'm flying my Citation 1000 or whatever. You know what I mean? Citation 10. This is like all business. You're in a cockpit now, and the size of it. But anyway, I didn't mean to cut you. Keep going.
No, you're good. You're saying all good stuff. To continue what you were saying, the size of it is. Yeah, go ahead.
The size of it is I can't say for certain it's 1-for-1, but having feel a 7.3 yoke in my hand and feeling this one, they're pretty similar size-wise.
Yeah, I feel
I
like it's
could
just
be
a
wrong.
little bit smaller
Maybe a
than
tiny. Yeah.
just probably scaled down. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's like 3/4 or something. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't think it's full size, but I think it's definitely not that far off that it would. You know, it's a home version of it, right? This is meant to fit in people's setup, no matter the size it is. Whether you have a full big setup where you spend a lot of money on it, or if you just get to start and this is your first yoke. So they really thought about that. And again, you can kind of feel like it's going to be quality at a budget.
Yep.
And
Definitely.
it's
Absolutely.
also using, I believe, they advertise a lot of like they're using actual metal on the inside to create that pendular effect, and in the science of
Yeah.
it all.
It's got a metal structure in the handle, the yoke itself, in the pivot point, and in the base itself. It's all metal. The
Yeah,
plastic is literally just covering over everything. You know what I mean? But it is. And so I can go on and on and on and on about this yoke. I just want it. That's it. End the story, man. I just
I
want the
I'm
thing.
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, when I got my hands on it and got to touch it and feel like, hey, this is pretty cool. Again, this is what I was expecting. This is kind of what I was hoping that they would do. It's their first yoke ever. Honeycomb Thrustmaster has a lot of products in their catalog, but they've never
Right.
done a yoke. So, for them to come out like and do it the way they did it is very impressive, to be honest with you. They didn't just like say just slap a pole in there and just try to get the tension right. Like no, they didn't do that. Like, hey, let's like how does a yoke actually work? How can we mimic? How can we duplicate? How can we simulate what a yoke actually feels like, based on how it sits in a Boeing cockpit, right? Because I think a lot of people when they create their yokes, they're not specifically making it Boeing, right?
Yep.
They're making it for because a Cessna does have a pole sticking into the dash, right? That's how it is. That's how it works.
Yep.
But for them trying to be Boeing specific allows them to think a bit more outside the box and try to create, like I said, that pendular effect they're trying to do. And it's really, when we were there, we didn't get a chance to actually try it in any simulator, so we don't really know what that sensitivity is going to be like. A lot of people are talking about the pitchiness of it. A lot of people are talking about the roll. We're all, nobody's going to be completely happy, but we really won't know until we get our hands on it and get to fly it in X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator and P3D, and get an idea of how that feels. I know some people also were kind of thrown off by the design decision, like the way that one part sticks right down between your legs. But that's really where the science of it goes down to. Like they needed that part to get that effect, because there is actually a pole that comes down the back of it, not straight back, but like down, like
Right.
actual yoke. So it's like it's sticking
Welcome to
down to
Boeing.
that. Yes, yeah, exactly. Welcome to Boeing.
Welcome
You
to Boeing,
you
man.
now you now no longer have leg room. So
this this is not an Airbus where you can cross your legs and pull out your tray table. No, it's a
exactly.
business. It's a business workstation, man. It also comes with two
Throttle.
levers at the bottom. I guess you could use it for throttle. You could probably use it for fuel cutoff. I probably will never use it.
I
Yeah,
probably won't
just
use
is
it
me.
either. But yeah, they,
Yeah,
they kind of
it's
said
there.
the reason they put those two levers on the bottom was if someone were to buy it and not buy the throttle as well. Like if that was all they
There you go.
had, they would be able to still control the throttle and everything with those levers down there. So it makes sense. I mean,
Right.
every device they've come out with has something like that, because they're thinking, hey,
Yep.
what about that person who doesn't have the budget to buy this and a throttle? All they want is this one thing. They just want this one yoke, this one joystick. They need to be able to control the throttle somehow.
Yep. Well, Thrustmaster Boeing throttle.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that? Because I got pictures of you checking it out, bro. I can't say you
Who,
didn't. I
me?
know you did. Yeah, man. I
That
got a picture of you.
throttle. So I saw in chat already. So I was like, "Where's the flaps at?" Well, hey, that was one of my first questions. The first thing I noticed
Yes.
was that there was no flap lever. There was a speed brake lever, but no flap lever. I thought that was extremely weird. And so I asked, and basically, apparently, from at least as of now, this may change before release, but you can actually swap out that speed brake lever and put a flap lever on it. So apparently, whenever you get this in the box, you will get a speed brake attachment and you'll get a flap attachment, and you get to choose flaps or speed brakes. Now, if you're like me, I need both. Um,
Yep.
so
Yep.
I mean, that wasn't my favorite thing. I was a little bit like, okay, well, you couldn't have extended it a few inches and added the flaps over there, you know? I'm expecting and predicting, again, another prediction in this show, that we're gonna see something like this, where you get this one section and then there's gonna be an add-on. So like if you don't have the add-on, you don't get
Ah,
flaps, you don't get speed brakes. All you
you
get is the
know,
throttle
I'm
and
telling you,
these.
man. Blue, I don't care what they say about you, man. You are one highly smart individual. Because you just said it. I'm looking at it going, as you said, come in the box. You can either have the flap lever or the speed brakes. But if you add a second one together,
Mm-hmm.
you now have a Boeing 747 quadrant where you have the four levers,
Yeah.
and then either end you could have the speed brakes where it needs to be and the flat where it needs to be. Think about it. You put two throttle quadrants together, you
Yeah.
now have a Boeing four, what do you call that? And the
747.
spacing is even. Yeah,
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 man.
yeah, yeah.
So I still
So
don't
yeah.
like the decision to only put one on the initial. Like if you're gonna put, like I feel like they either need to leave off the speed brake and do
Right,
an add-on like this, or have them both initially. I don't like that. Now
right.
as far as the throttles themselves, like they felt okay. I mean, honestly, like they felt a lot like this. That's kind of what my impression was. Like if you have a Thrustmaster throttle, specifically the TCA one, if the throttles feel a lot like it when it comes to the tension of it, the feel of it. Like again, this is not a super expensive plastic here. It feels just like it in my opinion, just a different color, different design. I think it did have reverser levers on there, which a lot of people were talking about how like flimsy those were. But it does have reversers built in on it. But again, the main thing for me was I didn't like that they didn't include the flap lever. I just think
Right.
I don't think
Some
I didn't think it was smart.
Somebody said the holy grail is going to be the Thrustmaster yoke and the Brava throttle together. It's going to be the
Thrustmaster
holy grail of things. Brava
throttle.
throttle, But yeah, look, I have I could have gotten the Brava throttle, and I didn't. Chief Sim Pilot gave me those SciTech add-ons, and the reason why I love them because they're full size almost. The
Mm,
feel of them is just heavy and beefy, and they're big, but they're add-ons. They're add-on to whatever you already own. And I think everybody has to make compromise with price and size. And I think Thrustmaster probably made a compromise here to say, all right, you know what? The throttle part is okay. And then the reversers will just give you the reversers the way the Boeing style does. I don't know what the pricing on it is going to be.
yeah.
Actually, talk about the TCA and throttle. My TCA is a little bit looser and it's fully tightened. The new TCA that I saw, I guess the version 2, they're tighter than mine.
Yeah.
They went back and tightened them.
Same for
So
me.
if you bought a TCA throttle right now, it's going to feel way better than the one that I have,
It
which
feels
is
so much
pretty good.
better. Again,
So
same
much better.
exact material and
Yeah.
everything. It's just the tension
Yeah.
and the actual axis is like tighter. It feels a lot more
Right.
natural. It feels like you kind of even have more control over it, right? Because you can kind of feel like you can go a bit more finer. But yeah, I agree. When I was one of the first things me and you noticed when we got on there in their booth and we started flying with their TCA throttle, we're like, man, like this feels different, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. It does feel different, So, hopefully these are in beta. They'll take the feedback of everybody and go, all right, let's tighten them up a little bit,
Hmm.
because we want that resistance, man. We definitely want that resistance on the throttles. We're so used to having the resistance now that not having it again is going to be like, bleh. It matters. Resistance matters. There you go. But yeah, but look, I would still get the combo of the Boeing throttles and the Thrustmaster yoke together. I would still get the combo.
I had
I
see a
like the
question in
gray.
the chat actually about how high does the yoke sit on the desk?
I think it's a perfect height. I've been struggling with my Honeycomb because I either have to put it on top of the desk, which I feel is a little bit too high,
Hmm.
or under desk, which is a slightly too low.
Yeah.
When I was there and I was sitting in front of it, it felt good. And I think the reason is because it's not stationary, it's the pivot. The
Mm.
pivot, it somehow makes it where you can go up or down a few inches and it's still going to feel good no matter which one. You know what
Yeah,
I
because
mean?
they did was they
Yeah,
lowered the axis basically, right? Because the
exactly.
way it's mounted in the exact same place you would put a honeycomb. But with honeycomb, when you mount it on your desk, it builds up, right? So then you kind of feels too high. But with the Thrustmaster yoke, it actually sits there, and actually the way it's designed is it goes down, right? So then that middle piece goes down, kind of like towards your legs, and then it's kind of just sits at a much more comfortable. It feels like position, and more realistic position a little bit more as well.
Right, right. So, yeah, that was my feeling on it. I would rock it. I would definitely rock
Oh,
it.
I'll rock the
I
heck
would.
out of that, man.
Oh yeah,
I'll rock the heck out of that, yo. The
yeah.
thing is I'm thinking too, man, because like whenever it comes to a time in my life when I have both the Thrustmaster yoke and the honeycomb yoke, which one am I gonna be flying? I think it's gonna be very
Um,
obvious for people like me
Yep.
and you who are streaming, whatever you see us using, that's probably what we like because we're using
Yep.
it. We're not being told to use this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just like it's what we're using. Even if somebody give it to us at some time, we're gonna have to choose. Am I gonna use a Thrustmaster yoke or am I gonna use a Honeycomb yoke? And there's multiple decisions, reasons why we make those decisions. Some of them are just because it just feels better. Some of them is this is more comfortable. Some of them is because it's I don't know inconvenient to take it down. You know what I mean? So there's different reasons why we would. But what were you gonna say?
I'm already making plans, man. My Thrustmaster is definitely for going to be Boeing's. The other Thrustmaster is going to be for Airbus, and then the Honeycomb, which I have and own, is going to be for GA stuff. And you guys
Interesting.
like you don't fly GA, do you, bro? Yeah, but no, seriously, that's what
What
I'm going to be
GA?
doing. You know, that's what you. And then I love the fact that on the Airbus side they have the Airbus gray, and then the Boeing gray is different, or the Airbus
Hmm.
blue and the Boeing gray on the product. I love the fact that they have that.
I
So,
think that's the beauty
you
of
know,
having the license.
there you
I think
go.
that's such a big deal is that they were able to actually acquire the license with Boeing to make this, which is super cool. Now, this is one thing I wonder, and this is something I've been wanting to talk about, was that I would love personally to see. And now I think I'm not sure if it was your first time, but at FX Expo, I walked. I don't think I walked you over there, but we were over there together at some point, and I was like, "Bro, touch this, feel this A10 Warthog throttle. Remember that?" And I was like, "Lift it
Mhm.
up, feel the joysticks, like see how that feels." I'm like, "What if they made a A10 Warthog quality Airbus edition thing or a Boeing, a Boeing one. It's like what if because these, they're hitting a certain market with these, right? But I feel like the
Right.
market that's kind of being overlooked right now, which is a bit smaller market, is market of people who are willing to pay a lot more money.
Yep.
Because a lot of people have the A10 joystick, which is a very expensive joystick, but it's extremely high quality. Like it's the best one I've ever used. And the same with the throttle. A lot of people in chat are saying they have the throttle as well. And that thing, you felt it again. It's heavy duty. It's the wave. That's my new word, the wave.
Well,
Um,
look. I
so
mean, here's one more thing that I saw on the throttle quadrant that I completely missed.
yeah,
You have a selector switch that you can use it for speed, heading, or altitude. So you know how the Boeing's got a double switch where the bottom one is bigger and the forward one is smaller.
yeah.
So you could set it to adjust either your speed, your heading, or your altitude. You can select those as a choice and then use the knob to spin for whatever you want to do. That's going to be on that throttle as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's gonna be crazy. But here's a question in chat because some people are like, "Hey man, you're discouraging me from using my honeycomb or getting my honeycomb." No, that's not what we're saying. But here's a question for you, Blue. If somebody was to go out right now and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna buy a honeycomb, or should they wait on the Thrustmaster yoke?" What do you think?
That's a good
Tough
one
one.
right there.
That is a tough one.
That is a
Yeah.
tough one because, and I think honeycomb sales are gonna suffer here in the next few months because of that reason right there. Wow. Should you buy a honeycomb yoke now or wait for the Boeing? Now the thing, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough
Yeah.
one, man. That's a tough one. I don't know
Yeah.
how to. I don't know how to answer that. To be honest with you.
It's a tough one because I have the honeycomb and I love it still. I mean,
Yeah,
it's smooth feeling, it's good feeling, it's heavyweight, it's all the things that you're looking for in a yoke. It's right,
it might come
you
down
know.
to price. To be
And
honest with you.
yeah, and if Thrustmaster came out with a yoke similar to that one, I'd be like, yeah, just stay with your honeycomb. But they didn't.
Hmm.
They came out with a yoke that pivots. You understand? Now, I think they said come November 9th or something like that or whatever. I don't know. They're going to be making another announcements about this. Maybe time and when it's going to come out, pre-orders. I have no idea. You understand? So, yeah,
Yeah, man. If you want to
honeycomb.
wait,
Look, look,
man.
if you have the budget for it, honeycomb for your GA stuff and Thrustmaster for your airliners. That's my call. I'm going to stick with that. Honeycomb for your GA and airliners for your Thrustmaster
I
stuff.
don't know. I still don't know if I agree with you, man.
Oh man. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it.
I
I
don't know.
I as an airline geek and an airline snob, I like the task specificness of the Thrustmaster stuff.
Yeah,
That yeah, I know, that's just
I
me.
feel
But
you. I definitely
yeah.
feel you. Yeah, I don't. That's a tough. That's one we're gonna have to decide and figure
Yep.
out here in the next few months
Yep.
because that's gonna. I think that's gonna be part of the conversation. Should we, especially for people who don't have a yoke at all.
Exactly.
or they're coming from like a
Right.
super old cheap yoke that they just need to upgrade. Like
Exactly.
this is gonna be specific for those people. If you already have a honeycomb yoke and you're loving it, like I don't feel like you need to. I don't think you need to feel like you need to go with the hype to go get this new one. You know,
Yep.
unless
Yep.
you just have, like you said, have the money, have the budget, and you wanna go for it. Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah, if you already have a yoke, you're loving it, you're enjoying it. I don't think you need to
All
worry
right.
about it so much.
All right. That's it. Here's the man. It says right there. All right. Let's jump to the next one because we can't miss this. We have to talk about it at length.
Oh yes.
X-Plane 12.
Yeah.
X-Plane 12, ladies and gentlemen, in chat. I need to put up a poll in my chat about X-Plane 12 because there's so much to cover in X-Plane 12. There's so many emotions with X-Plane 12. There's so many things said about X-Plane 12, both good and bad. What's your overall initial impression of X-Plane 12 based on what you
X-Plane
saw and heard?
12. Well, I had some thoughts about that before we heard about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think some of those thoughts were like, I didn't think it was going to change that much. Uh,
Right.
I didn't think it was going to be a massive upgrade from 11. Was I right?
Right.
No. I don't know. There's a lot of features that was added. I mean, they added seasons. They made water better. They brought back LibRain. Matter of fact, they absorbed LibRain and brought it into the core sim, which I thought was a super smart move.
Right.
Um, they added. I don't really care that much about the planes they added. This F-14 was a joke. To be honest with you, I thought it was a joke when they first brought it up on screen at the beginning of their show. I was like, really? This is what you're showing off for X-Plane 12? Like, I don't think people care. The A330 looks pretty good. We got a chance to fly that at the expo.
Mm-hmm.
It felt good. It felt real good. The plane quality of that plane was amazing. So I definitely will fly it, but I'm not expecting anything more system wise. I think they said that it's kind of a basic FMC or MCDU right now. And they may add it later, but all this, I don't know. We're gonna need another Zebo for the A330. We're gonna need a flapper wire team to come and hit the A330 when it comes out because it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna look good, but it's gonna need some work. But initial impressions of it, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Obviously, I have X-Plane 11, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna fly it. I'm gonna use it. Hopefully, all my stuff that works now is gonna work. One thing that did really disappoint me was an announcement made by HOTAS, I think,
Yep.
that said something about that their products will work in X-Plane 12, except there will be. No, actually, I take it back. No, they said that their products will work in X-Plane 12, but if you want like the X-Plane 12 version of the product with all the new stuff that X-Plane 12 offers, you got to pay I think it's like $20 or something like that to upgrade.
See the price. It's going to be a upgrade price to the new stuff. So,
Uh,
but but before we even go there, man, let me tell you my thoughts on X-Plane 12. Before X-Plane 12 announcement, these are the things that people were saying that X-Plane is lacking and needed. And number one was weather.
mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. Based on their description, we haven't seen it yet, but based on what Austin Meyer said about the weather, and he went on and on and on and on and on and on about the physics of it, they hit that out the park. The weather in X-Plane 12 is going to be something to be reckoned with. Maybe it's going to be the best in any simulator. Because if you guys know Austin, he goes on and on and on and on about the numbers and wind speed and prop wash and torque and all this other stuff. And what he said was the funny part about the weather is they ended up using a lot of the things that they did in the past just for flight modeling and torque and stuff into the weather now. It's incorporated in there. So when you said LibRain with the rain coming off the windshield, it's not just fake. It's literally going to be based on the prop wash. So the rain is falling, the prop's not spinning up. You push the prop up, the direction of the water on the glass changes, and you go down a runway, and the direction of the water on the glass changes again. You understand? That's going to be spectacular to see in X-Plane. The second part about it, the icing model that they're developing. Because I saw they did the announcement. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see any snow. So I asked the question, I'm like, hey, man, are there going to be snow? He goes, yeah. But it's not going to be like it's snowing and it's going to be blanketed everything. It's going to be accumulating on the ground and on the
Mm-hmm.
ramp. And then it's going to melt and it's going to go away. So everything is going to be incorporated with the weather. You're not just going to be a complete whiteout unless it's been snowing for a few hours. Then it's
Yeah.
going to build up on it. And then when they show that shot of the rain on the tarmac and the rain drops in the water, I'm like, wait a minute, is this Microsoft Flight Sim or is this X-Plane?
That was my
I was-
favorite shot. I was like
Yeah.
hitting Geo, like, bro, did you see the reflection of the plane in the puddle? Like,
Yes.
I was like, man, like they definitely stepped it up weather wise. And I agree with, I think weather itself, which was one of the biggest things we all complained about, right?
Yes.
Um, it sounds to me like we're not going to need an active sky, right? It's supposed to be that type of system supposed to be built in. It sounds to me like we're not going to need an enhanced skyscapes, right? We're not going to need to have a cloud. That's what it sounds like to me from what
Yep.
from what the preview showed.
Yep.
And again, I think like you said, a lot of a lot of the things I feel they spent the most time on X-Plane 12 are the small things that get overlooked. Like I said, like when you're I've noticed when I've been in a plane and the plane it's raining, like pouring down. It's not storming, so it's safe enough to
Right.
fly, but it's raining. The wind the rain is hitting the windscreen, and you start rolling. And like you said, like the rain starts going splitting apart over the fuselage. As you get fast enough, you don't even see drops anymore, right? It's just it's interesting, and you actually can see that in the way they're simulating the wind and in the wind going through the trees and the sound also carrying through with that wind changing based on the wind and wind direction and things like that. So a lot of the stuff that they changed and did is kind of stuff under the hood. And so that way the visuals that they've kind of enhanced as well are getting they're taking advantage of that. So yeah.
Yep. X-Plane 12 is the eye candy update. Yes, there's going to be snow in X-Plane 12, so that I thought
And
it wasn't clear.
seasons.
Seasons with the tree colors changing, not just winter and summer. It's going to be fall and spring, and red trees and orange color and green and all that stuff. But it's an eye candy update, which is what was needed because they work so extensively on the flight modeling. We don't need any more flight modeling fix. We're good.
Flight miles.
work on the thing to make the thing look pretty, and they did. Trees. Now, it's 3D trees, and they do move with the wind direction, as you were saying in chat, and I definitely love that. I still want more tree density, if that makes sense. I want it to be a little bit more dense, but you know what? I'm not going to push my luck on it. It is what it is, but tree density would be nice.
From what I saw in the preview video and
Right.
in playing the game when we got to do the flying in it a little bit at the expo, again, tree density ramped up a lot. But when you fly over a forest, you don't see the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like they're so dense that you don't actually see the grass underneath. You can't see below the canopy, and that's something I feel like they're still missing, at least in this version. Maybe they'll up the density a bit later. Maybe they'll change things a little bit. I don't know. I doubt it, but a lot of times, unless you're like in Africa where all the trees are like 10 feet apart because they're social distancing, then it's a different story. But like if I go outside right now, go down the street and I see woods, forest, something like that, then these trees are like bunched. They're literally like this far apart. So but yeah, if there's a way to ramp it up and turn up, maybe that's like on the object scale or something. I don't know how they're gonna do that.
And Captain AMB said it. Dense trees are ways to cover up the fact that it's not going to have any ortho built into it, which I'm completely fine with. I just know that they're not going to have ortho.
I'm still not fine with the no ortho.
Well, I'm looking at it from a business perspective. Microsoft is not going to give them any Bing ortho, which is what we have, right? Because that's a competitor.
Well, then don't get it from Microsoft. There's other providers.
Google. That's the only other one that I know of.
Google, and there's probably another out there. There's some other government people who have ortho, and they could have got
how
it from
much
one
is
of
going to
them.
cost them? And
I don't know.
To actually either have you download it or stream it. That's a
I don't
whole
think
other
cost was an
communication.
issue. I just think they just don't want to do it.
Nah, I think if they could have done it, they would have done it.
I think because Austin was so gung ho about being against ortho that I think they're just like, no, we're just gonna because again, we got a chance to look at the early build, right? It's not the final, but the ground textures, were the exact same. They had us set up on a Stewart approach over a CY something. Dang it, I forgot the name of it. CZYT, I think. No, that's Toronto. Anyways, there's a place, and I flew into it, and I was like, this looks like X-Plane 11. That was my honest opinion.
And I fully expect that. You understand? Because the ground textures are the same. And I already have my 2 terabyte ortho drive full of ortho stuff. I encourage anybody, if you're going to get X-Plane, you got to get ortho or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Make the commitment, man. $80. Get a couple terabytes. Download your ortho over time. You're going to be happy. Trust
my
me.
issue was without because again, I get it, and I mean, it's not the end of the world because I know how to get ortho. I have ortho, and I can build on top of that. But I'm gonna need like another 8 terabytes to really complete my collection. But So, but the thing is whenever you're upgrading the visuals of X-Plane, so you think about it as a painting, right? You put a line right
Right.
down the middle of the screen. That's a horizon. Above that horizon, now we get these beautiful skies, amazing,
Oh yeah.
lighting. We're getting great
That color.
clouds. I think it looks amazing. And then you go below that line. Now we have our ground textures, our trees. We got some trees on there, which is nice. The density is like, probably 75%, 80% of where it should be. We like to be around 99, 98. Just really kind of fill out the picture. And then below that, we got the ground textures, and it's like nobody filled in the lines. That's kind of what it feels like with X-Plane 12. But then you got to go and color the lines yourself. But then you got to pay, a few $100s for SS or external, thing if you really want to be enjoyable. So again, I'm not dogging X-Plane 12, even though I am. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna deal with the issue that it has, just like any other sim. Microsoft, we have our issues with that, but yet I still go
Yeah.
back to it and I enjoy it. So I'm gonna have things that I enjoy about X-Plane 12.
No,
And
it's not. Spax said that they should go to the CIA and get the satellite photos from them.
yes, they're probably
Oh my
looking at me
God.
right now.
Hey, but hey, it's gonna keep Orbix in business. Captain Mabasa says it's gonna keep Orbix in business, man. Orbix is
Yeah.
gonna make a killing on
I
that.
gotta say, I'm
Still.
impressed by Orbix and how they've attacked Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is a whole other subject, but I'm impressed by how we were like, oh, Orbix is gonna go out of business because they don't need scenery anymore. Well, they're like, yeah, hold my joystick. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I got this. So,
Yep.
let's move on because we're going on time, and I want to talk about
Man.
one of our favorite parts of the weekend.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh wow. If you guys missed it, man, we had an epic, 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 epic streaming experience and flying experience.
Yes,
Blue Games, Captain Geo,
Sim
Cap
Aviator.
Team Aviator, XB72, Fly with Rookie. Oh my God, guys, we got
Captain
it.
Chemtrails.
Captain Chemtrails was on point, teaching us how to do things properly, which I screwed up a bunch of times. But if you guys missed it, man, we have that live stream up where we flew in a 1-for-1 737 simulator, courtesy of Mr. Flyweight Rookie. And let me tell you something, guys, it changed my whole perspective. Blue, did it change your perspective on flying and stuff? Let me ask you that.
100 freaking percent.
Yes.
So we get in these simulators, right? Or our home simulators with our Honeycomb
Yep.
yoke and our 2D screen, and we play these sims, X-Plane, Microsoft, whatever, and we know exactly where everything is. We're clicking them all the buttons. But when you hop into a full sim where all the buttons are in the right place, you don't realize where everything is. Like to turn the navs on, right, for the IRS, you got to reach way back here.
Absolutely. You
To
do.
do that, you gotta you gotta look up. You're moving around a lot more. So again, and then flying it as well. Even it just it's so hard to explain feeling wise. You know how we talked about that feel earlier.
Yep.
On this particular simulator from Mr. Fly with Rookie, I at one point felt like I was in a real 737. I forgot that I was in a garage somewhere in
Look,
California.
let's just say that you can get motion sickness from a simulator that's not even on moving. It's not a moving simulator, but when you're immersed in it, and I'm talking about 270 degrees, 300 degrees around you is the cockpit, and you have the screen in front of you, and the airplane starts to bank and turn and roll and shake with the sound of the speakers and everything.
Yeah.
Believe you me, you can get motion sickness. You will get completely disoriented. For instance, autopilot is on, and I click off the autopilot to go land, and all of a sudden, the simulator is moving around on me. The airplane is moving around in space. And it brought me back to when I was flying that Cessna, where we fly on the home desktop simulator, and yeah, we're moving, we're flying, we're doing everything, we're clicking switches, but you don't feel anything. You get in a real world airplane, and it starts dropping out from on the, you start shifting back and forth, up and down, left and right. This is what this felt like. For me, it was like, wait a minute, I have to control this thing. You understand? And so the complete immersion that you get from it is absolutely astounding, man, to have everything 1-for-1, bro. And I was looking at you. You were just grinning from ear to ear, brother. You were enjoying yourself.
I remember telling you too about that whole immersion thing. Like,
Yeah.
I tend to use that word way more than I should when it comes to how I explain things in the sim and how I would like them to be in the sim. And I was like,
Right.
all that stuff I talked about before was nothing. Like, none of that. Like, sitting in that seat where the seat was like, I don't know if those are real Boeing 757 seats, I think, right?
Yes.
Sitting in those seats, being able to like the way you move it up, you gotta like, it's just the little things you just don't know about, um, and how heavy the throttle was. It's
Yep.
crazy. I really had to retrain my brain when it came to throttle management because like it's so much heavier. Like I'm so used to using this right here, where it's like I can just use a finger. You can't do this right here. You can't do
No.
that. At least I mean, at least not in this sim. I don't know how if that's how it is in real life, but it was actually a real Boeing throttle. So it's
Exactly. I was going to say you had the pleasure of flying with a real Boeing throttle quadrant,
yeah,
meaning that the trim wheel sound was it's just
it
awesome.
was
The trim wheel,
amazing.
it's a little bit bigger in person than I thought, by the
Yeah,
way, the trim wheel.
same.
I thought it was a little smaller. The auto throttle, you hit the toga button and the thing just moves on in your hand. Yeah, I mean, you just got to follow it.
Watching the throttle
Um,
move on its own on auto
yeah, man.
throttle was just like
Yeah,
what?
exactly. So let me just say that it's completely ruined my life right now because I came home and look at my desk going, what the hell am I doing? I need a simulator. So I've actually started working on my desk. I'm gonna get another big screen here. I've done some stuff that I'm changing, and slowly but surely to get that immersion factor that we had. I'm trying to
You're not
achieve
gonna
that
get it,
here.
bro.
Oh man.
I just wanna be the bearer of bad news right now. You're not gonna get what we got over there at that sim with just another screen.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's same here. Honestly, again, like I said, I haven't got a chance to actually sim since I've been back. 'Cause I've been so busy. But I've been wanting to so bad. But also still like wanting to have that experience at home is kind of been what's been on my mind. And I'll be honest with you, I do have an alpha, sorry, a Bravo throttle on the way now, as well as my replacement alpha throttle sorry, yoke is gonna be here in a few
Right.
days too. So my setup is gonna be changing quite a bit as well. Partly because of FS Expo and everything we did over there, kind of like, hey, I could probably do this there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just the experience of being in basically a Boeing 737 800 or whatever replica cockpit, being able to hold the controls, like it's how we talked about that pendular effect. That was the first time I ever had a yoke that actually touched the floor at my feet. You know what I mean? Like it actually went all the way down to the floor, and I had to kind of walk around it or move around it, pushing the rudder pedals. I had to move the seat all the way up because I'm a little bit smaller. But it was just a amazing experience, and it's just I'm sorry that I'm stuttering so much right now because I'm just kind of speechless. It's hard to explain everything. It's just so enjoyable. I mean, we could have been there all night. Matter of fact, we were there most of the night. We didn't leave until like 2 a.m. Because we
Yes,
were just
we
all
did.
just Gio was trying to do another flight after we left. Before we left, we're like, bro, it's like 2 a.m. already. And the wives were still waiting too. So man, I wish I had more to say. I'm sorry, rookie. I
No,
wish I
look,
had more to
no,
say.
it's like this, we're flight simmers. That's what we gather around as a common thing here. And we're always looking to up our flight simming game, our immersion game. And the ultimate is just to have a full-fledged cockpit, if you can. You understand? No, that's going to be a task for many people because this is space requirement alone. Um, Private rookie, I don't know what your light bill is going to be, brother. I'm just saying, because we got there, the thing is running and it generates heat also.
Yeah.
It generates a lot of heat. He had air condition in the cockpit itself, which was completely, I was like, welcome and good. But I did get overwhelmed. I'm gonna say I did get overwhelmed. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like Gio. Gio is like the Mr. Steel over here, man. But I got overwhelmed for a quick minute, just absorbing everything that was going on with that. You understand? So here I am, Flight Sim Expo weekend. The day before, I'm in the hall. I'm looking at stuff. I'm checking out that Thrustmaster yoke. I get in the cockpit at Flyweight Rookies sim, and it felt like the same thing. That's what got me. And I was like, whoa, this is, I thought it was bigger than this. It's not. It's like a small size. You know what I mean? And so this just made the whole Flight Sim Expo weekend just tremendous to me. And I'm telling you guys, when the next one comes up, please make it a vacation and go.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys need to do at least one Flight Sim Expo in your life. It is worth it. The camaraderie of meeting people, of hanging out, of shaking hands, of touching the equipment, of seeing what's coming out, talking to, and what the everybody who had a booth, you can talk to these guys. You could talk to Thrustmaster. You could talk to Honeycomb. You could talk to Turtle Beach. You could talk to anybody who made any kind of product,
Yep.
and that's good. You understand? You guys need to do it, man. If you're in the simming community, people in the golf community, man, they spend all kinds of thousands of dollars in golf clubs and they travel and play the best courses in the world. We only get to travel once a year and we're flight simmers, bro. So I would recommend you guys do it. Next time another one comes up, set it aside, put it in your budget, put it in your calendar, and take your wife with you, by the way. Take your wives with you. If you guys
Yeah,
have
take your
wives or
family.
husbands, take your family with you. There you go. Lots of young kids there too. Lots of
Hmm.
young kids showed up with their
I
family,
got to
with their
meet some of
moms.
you guys as parents.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We met some parents, man, and it was good to see the parents bring the kids out and say, "Hey, man, my son wants to say hi to you." I'm like, "Yeah, come on, man, take a picture. It's all good." And that was a good thing. So it's a family event. You understand? Uh, Book it, do it. You guys should do it. Where's the next expo? I wish I knew, man. I can't wait for Evan to do
The
the
poll.
next poll to see where it's gonna be. Definitely, man.
Agreed.
Um, I'm not sure if it's going to be September again, but they might change it. The last time was not September, it was like June or something like that.
Yeah, it
So
was.
we'll see then. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Time was had by all. I haven't even gotten into standing on top of that parking deck in San Diego and watching those planes come in.
Yeah, that was a
Bro,
bonus right there, man.
I look real
I
quick.
think
I
you
pulled up.
just missed my flight too, because I saw your stream after I landed in Vegas, and I was like, oh, he was
Uh,
up there on the thing watching planes do stuff, and I was like, ah, I think the time you went up was after I had already departed.
the parking was $22, and I spent 30 minutes. Put it that way.
$22
But
parking.
But when I was coming down, I was like, all right, because they give you a ticket to take back to them when you're leaving so they can get your car for you and stuff if you valet it. And I gave the guy the ticket. He looked at me, he goes, "You were upstairs watching planes, weren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, just give me $5." I was like, "Yeah,
Nice.
I know." He knows
He
exactly.
knows. He
He knows.
knows.
It's like, yeah, I don't know if he knows I was streaming from up there, but that's it. I do apologize for the shaky cam, but it was my cell phone. That's all I had,
Hey man, it was
and
a
so
pretty dope little live stream you did, man. I thought that was pretty
yep.
sick. I
So
think because a lot of people who haven't been to San Diego, maybe never
yep,
will be able to go. We
yep.
all know is a very iconic approach in there, and being able to stand up on that roof is a big
Oh
deal.
yeah, definitely, man. And if you guys missed the T-shirt earlier, if you're just joining me, I'm gonna stand up again. This T-shirt I got from Plastic Express says "Flight Simmers working from home before it was cool," and I did wear that in the airport on the way home. Hand off God, say, "Hey, you're not wearing your T-shirt?" I'm like, "Okay, I guess." I got some really weird looks and stuff, but for the most part, it was good. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
man,
it
have
was
we
a,
missed
a
anything?
great
Have we missed?
weekend.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything? I don't think so. I mean, I think we touched on all the biggest stuff. Again, P3D was there. I didn't actually get to sit in on their thing or talk to them, but P3D was there. They did, and I don't know what they said, but it sounded like people were disappointed.
Yeah. Yes, they were.
um,
And here's the reason why. Somebody said P3D came up and basically said, "Well, we really don't have any announcements or anything to make or any presentation. We're just here to take questions."
hmm,
Okay. And then the first question was, "Is P3D dead?" That was the very first question, and so forth. But they did better than Microsoft. Nobody from Microsoft showed up, no
yep.
representative, no nothing. Come on, Microsoft. What are you
Come on,
thinking?
Microsoft.
Microsoft should have showed up at the Flight Sim. What do you guys think? I mean, you have a dropped 1 year now, a brilliant flight sim. Yeah, it still needs work, but it's the prettiest thing out there right now. It's rocking. Show up and say hi to the folks and say, "Hey, this is what we have planned." I know you guys can't travel, but Microsoft should have been there.
They can travel.
Microsoft should have
That's
been
not an
there. They could
excuse
do it.
anymore. They can travel.
Yeah, you know. So, yep, it's true. It's absolutely true that they should have been there. I don't know why they didn't send one person, one booth, and just talk to people about it. So,
Speaking of that, again, I'm pretty, I wasn't expecting them to be there. I was kind of hoping they would, maybe somebody was there from the team who would be, kind of under the radar. But I was
right.
hoping to be somebody there who actually was there to represent. But on that note, I noticed from all the people that I talked to that the majority of people were playing X-Plane.
Yeah.
Like last time that I went, it was like 50-50 X-Plane P3D. But then this year, like
Mm.
even one guy I met in 2019. My first time ever meeting him. We like ran into each other somehow, and we got in a conversation back then. He was a hardcore P3D person back then. I was an X-Plane person, still am, and I met him again this year. I was like, oh, hey, I recognize you. What's up, man? And he was like, yeah, we got in a conversation. I was like, so what are you simming on right now? And he
Yep.
said, well, I was like, I know you used to do P3D. I was like, you still doing P3D? He's like, well, kind of, but more getting into X-Plane. I was like, wow, because he was a hardcore P3D person a couple years ago. So, but
Right.
around the whole event, I was noticing a lot more X-Plane people than before. So it seems like it's kind of been an uproar of X-Plane. But honestly, like, I've heard people who play Microsoft. Most people are like, yeah, I play Microsoft and X-Plane together. But it was more of X-Plane, so it was kind of surprising
Yep.
and
It
new.
is surprising. And look, Microsoft dropped, it promised a lot of things to a lot of people, and it hasn't happened yet. On the GA side, it is happening. On the tube-liner side, it's not happening yet. So people still want to fly their tube-liners.
Mm-hmm.
And X-Plane is the new kid, well, is the next best thing up. If you have P3D already and you have your add-ons that you have already paid for, which are great, you're good. But people looking at X-Plane going, X-Plane 12 is even going to look better. I mean, Ramses from Flight Factor was there too. He made an announcement about the
Yep.
777. We haven't even talked about that. And 777 is going to be good. The new 777 version 2 is going to be good. So once that drops, that's going to be good. There was a new ERJ coming out
ERJ, I think it's a
for
one.
X-Plane. Yep, new ERJ
Honestly,
coming
I'm
out for
not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna buy that one.
it. Looks good.
Because
Yeah, it
honestly,
look.
X-Craft's done a great job, I thought, with the other ERJs.
Yep. True.
And this one looked like it was gonna build on top of that. I know he already has ERJs, and a lot of people are flying them. I just didn't prefer them because they just didn't look like good quality. But the ones they're working on now, which I think he said won't come out till next year, which was crazy. The fact that he was already promoting it and it won't come out till 2022. But
Right.
anyways, it looks really good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. So that's Flight Sim Expo in a nutshell, guys. Fun was had by all,
Yeah.
including our significant others. They had fun too. So all in all, it was a good show, good weekend, good wrap up, nonstop. Came back dead tired, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Oh
And
yeah.
we might do something different on the next one when it comes out. We won't talk about that though. But anyway,
No.
but yeah, Blue, what do you say, man?
Man, I think it was a successful Flight Sim Expo
Yes,
this year. Again,
yes,
not as big, a bit more. I like to say intimate. A little smaller. You were able to see everything in one day. You get to talk to a decent amount of people, meet the people, some of the people you want to see from online. But it was a good one. I again, like you said, just kind of backdoor on that. Definitely come next year, or next time they have it, because yeah, a lot of people who wanted to come weren't able to make it, and I would love to see you guys there. Just to make it so much better. To see even more and more people coming, make it even bigger event, more everything. It's just good, man. It's good experiences, and wherever we have it, same make sure we connect with those people. We'll do some fun stuff outside the expo too, because all the fun is not being had in the expo. There was some people having a good time at night after the doors were closed out in the lobby. I'll tell you that. Some things was going on out there that was pretty funny. I won't go too deep into that. But it was a good time. It was fun, and looking forward to the next one. And it just has me on a flight sim high, and all I want to do now is hop in my sim and fly planes. So
that's it, man. That's what we do.
and
We
fly
fly
real
planes.
planes too. I still want to fly real planes too. So
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll probably read planes as well. So that's it, guys. What's coming up for you next, Blue? What's
I
gonna
am
be
hoping tomorrow to get to do a live stream. My first stream back sometime in
right?
the afternoon. I do work tomorrow morning, so depending on how early I get off, I'll be able to stream. So that's the plan. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I don't know that I want to. So what about you?
Awesome. Tomorrow is Friday. It's the it's the XPO. I'm gonna take that Flight Factor. Flight Factor, as you said in our couple podcasts ago, that they're going to be updating the A320, and they did. They
They
dropped the
did.
beta
It
update.
was a big
I'm going to
update.
be flying the Flight Factor beta update tomorrow. I'm thinking of actually going into San Diego in X-Plane. I did it in Microsoft Flight Sim already. I'm going to try to X-Plane and see if I can see the parking lot. I'm not sure where we're going to leave from here. And then Saturday, not sure what's going on, but maybe one for the weekend, Saturday or Sunday for you guys. But that's it. Tomorrow we're gonna be fine and doing some more stuff. You guys, social media, Blue Games. What's your Twitter and your
I am Blue Games. I am Blue Games on Instagram, Twitter, and most things. Oh, and Twitch as well. So yeah, check me out. I know the
Awesome.
XP has finally come back to social media,
Finally,
so
man. I
definitely
know.
give him a big welcome on social media and show him some love on his Twitter and on his Instagram accounts. He'll be posting a lot of stuff here.
XP72 simming. That's what my my Instagram is. Check that one out, guys. Definitely. But I absolutely appreciate you guys being here, man. Definitely, this was good. I'm glad I get to talk about the wrap up with you, Blue,
Oh yeah.
and just go over different experiences. We wish we could show you pictures because we have tons of them
Oh
to
yeah.
show and videos. But this was great, man. Absolutely appreciate you guys being here. Join us next week. It's going to be a special show as well. All of our shows are special. We'll let you guys know what that is. A midweek, and we're gonna go from there, man. But definitely, it's gonna be good.
All right, well, guys, that's gonna be it for us for this week. Thank you for chilling with us on the Blu-XPerience once again. Sorry for all the freezes. We'll get those technical issues ironed out hopefully by next week. But again, amazing event at Flight Sim Expo. Huge shout out to all the people who made that happen, the volunteers. Again, if you're looking forward to getting involved with that, definitely contact them on their website, and definitely check out XP on his next stream, and as well as me on mine over here on Blue Games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to our next flight. Man, by the way, one thing we didn't mention before we go, can I squeeze this in? How did it feel for us to do our first shared cockpit in a real cockpit?
Oh, bro. Yes, we did. We did a shared cockpit, guys. Look at that. You guys been begging for that, and we did it the real way, the real special way.
Yeah.
We could actually, yeah, man. That was good, man, bro. I'm lazy now. I flew yesterday the 737. I'm like, I wish I had a first officer. A lot of work. I did. I was like, man, having somebody else doing half the work for you is so special.
Yeah,
so
it is.
we're probably gonna have to do some kind of shared cockpit coming up soon, man.
We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to figure it out because I think that like you said, going into that 737 sim kind of ruined everything else for us. The shared cockpit experience, the touch, the feel experience, all that stuff. And I think of all the things we can actually bring back is possibly the shared cockpit side, using some of the programs that are available to us. So yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll talk about it. But guys, it's been amazing again. Thank you guys for coming out and checking out Blu-XPerience again weekly. This is episode 11. We'll be back next week for another special episode. And yeah, until next time, remember you have 3 choices: give up, give in, or give it all you got. Peace, love, and God bless you.
Sorry.
We will see you guys next time.
Later.
Next video.
Out. Later, man.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Oh yeah. Bum 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 outro bum bum. There it is. Sheesh.